Mom, do you remember what happened in Delivery of Destiny and Deconstructing Doof?
Remind me.
Okay, so Paul, the delivery guy, or Paul, the mobile logistics technician in Delivery of Destiny.
Yeah, I remember him.
And Mosley Shamai in Deconstructing Doof. I mean Dr. Mosley Shamai in Deconstructing Doof.
Is this from the Milo Murphy's Law?
No.
Oh, the doctor that totally broke HIPAA and blabbed everything and then totally undermined his own credibility. That guy?
Yes, that guy.
Yeah, yes, I remember that. Yes, I remember that. Yes. Okay, go on. Yeah,
Well, it's funny you should mention Milo Murphy's Law because Paul's voice actor got to play another character in Milo Murphy's Law.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know Milo Murphy's Law as well. So I'll just believe whatever you say.
Okay, well, you see, I think Delivery of Destiny and Deconstructing Doof both knew how to make interesting storylines about one episode characters who have this entire episode is about them traveling between the locations of Phineas and Ferb characters and the locations of Perry the Platypus characters.
Right. Yeah, like that crazy Steven doctor. I mean, who figured out the truth, but he looked totally crazy and broke several laws, right, telling people about it, right.
Some truths are supposed to stay a secret.
Yeah, right. Okay, so where are you going with this?
Oh, right. In Delivery of Destiny, Paul was the hero of his own story, and in Deconstructing Doof, Mosley Shamai was the villain of his own story.
Yeah, he thought he was a hero, but he turned out being the villain. Yeah.
Paul was the protagonist of Delivery of Destiny, and Mosley Shamai was the antagonist of Deconstructing Doof.
Okay, antagonist and protagonist rolled up in one. Okay, go on.
Paul is a Donnie Do-Gooder because, regardless of whether or not, we see Paul with interacting with Perry's two-leg identity, and while he may or may not also know of Perry's four-leg identity, that doesn't matter because what does matter is Paul is a good Samaritan who rescued Perry the Platypus and helped him foil Dr. Doofenshmirtz's juicinator when Perry was in danger and needed to be freed from his trap. Unlike Mosley Shamai after him, Paul doesn't violate confidentiality between different clients to whom he delivers his mail.
Right, he was in the right place at the right time and was the right person to help out.
Hey, Paul.
Hey, kids, just hitching a ride. Right here's good. Thanks, guys.
See you, Paul.
Dr. Mosley Shamai is a Dougie Do-Nothing because he cared more about exposing secret truths that connect his clients Candace Flynn and Dr. Doofenshmirtz more than he cared about actually helping them work through their personal emotional issues and insecurities.
Oh yeah, he was using them. He wasn't helping, he was using them.
And a roller coaster.
And a platypus.
An obvious metaphor for life's ups and downs.
I'm not speaking metaphorically.
I mean, I wouldn't say do nothing, maybe do bad. But yeah, do nothing in terms of he wasn't helping them. He was doing nothing in his supposed official capacity of supposedly helping them.
He wasn't helping Perry either. That's why he leans more. That's why I believe Mosley Shamai leans more closer to the category of Dougie Do-Nothings.
Right. Okay.
And in Agent T for Teen, Stacy was a Donnie Do-Gooder.
Yeah. Yes, she was.
And in Duplicated, Candace and Vanessa were both Donnie Do-Gooders without even crossing paths with Perry the Platypus in that episode because, they're both Donnie Do-Gooders in the sense that Vanessa helped Candace foil the evil, duplicated Baljeet, Buford, Ferb, Isabel, and Phineas.
I know you can't contain your excitement, so let me contain it for you! 'Cause you, Candace the sister!
I'm sure it's a good thing that Stacy and her mom, who is also a doctor, as far as we know, were not attending Mosley Shamai's seminar because that would have added a whole other additional, possibly unnecessary layer of conflict to Deconstructing Doof.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine what Candace saw and heard from Mosley Shamai during his presentation through his wild presentation while she was watching it and her mom was missing it.
Oh my, yeah. Her mom missed it just like it was all the important bustable moments. So
what do you think Candace heard and saw from Mosley Shamai's presentation? Since they were literally directly seated in the front row. Carry on. What were you saying? What were you going to say?
For Candace, it does explain how these, everything her brother's doing mysteriously, is gone by the time her mom has a chance to see it, right?
Right.
So that she's not crazy. This really is happening and somebody else sees it. But then it doesn't help when he gets discredited as kind of crazy, right?
Right.
But it's like finally he has an answer, like, yeah, this is what's going on. But then immediately it's like, oh no, this guy seems crazy, that who knows what's really going on,
Well, more to the point, something I noticed, which is not a direct focus of deconstructing do, but something I can tell from like prior plot continuity is because Candace Flynn wasn't present with Stacy when she was watching Grievance at Home Alone.
Right.
I believe it's possible that while Candace was watching Dr. Mosley Shamai's presentation, she picked up on the clues he was trying to deliver about the platypus, who is more than just a metaphor for what is keeping people down.
Oh yeah, she knows, right? She knows about Perry, so yeah, she would pick up on that, yeah. Oh yeah. She was like, oh wow, so someone else knows.
What are you doing here? Where's your
fedora?
All this time after her bizarre Badbeard Lake trip, Candace was probably happy to see that to hear about this from her to hear about this news from her therapist, because it could have verified that Candace isn't the only one who saw Perry the platypus in his two-legged secret agent identity.
Right, exactly.
And while she was sad when Perry the mysterious force struck again to use the self-destructinator to make Dr. Shamai's conspiracy board disappear, she still felt a little bit better to see what karma someone else would suffer from giving away Perry's secret identity, which is a line that Candace herself has never dared to cross.
Yeah. Yeah, but no, it's really, it means a lot to know that, like, I'm not imagining this, someone else saw it too. So for Candace, good thing. Plus she saw, this evidence just got erased before our eyes, so see, it's not just in our backyard that it happened.
And Dr. Mosley Shamai broke down because he made a much bigger fool of himself than Candace would, both because he crossed the line of trying to blow Perry's cover, and because he embarrassed himself in a whole stadium full of other doctors rather than just one or two people.
Yeah, like
Lawrence and Linda.
Yeah, like just her parents.
Right.
Exactly. And she doesn't have it's not like she's gonna lose a license either.
Right.
This guy's got a license to lose.
Right.
That he needs to earn a living.
Right. Yes. I like Wizard of Oz so much, I could actually see Dr. Mosley Shamai possibly returning as an antagonist in if Phineas and Ferb made a Return to Odd, because then Dr. Shamai would be a bigger threat to more characters. He'd be a serious threat to more characters than just Perry the Platypus. He'd probably try to make Albert, Candace, Ferb, Ginger, Irving, Isabella, Phineas, and Stacy believe that their active imaginations are just delusions.
Mm-hmm.
In my pitch for Phineas and Ferb's Return to Odd, Maggie the Macaw plays Belinia, super big doctor plays Princess Mombi, only she's super big Princess Zombie now, and her minions like Raxington Tin and the Toilet Flower, the Wheelers, and last but most importantly, Mosley Shamai is the Gnome King, or as I like to call him, Sham King, because Sham's part of his last name. He could be known as Sham King for short, or Sham King and I for long.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Right? Because right? Because I think Mosley, after the events of deconstructing Doof, Mosley Shamai perfectly fit the role of like the doctor who tries to make the kids and teens forget what they know, who believes that imagination equals delusion when it obviously does not. But the moms of Albert, Candace, Ferb, Ginger, Irving, Isabel, Phineas, and Stacy might think that the tall tales that they tell are delusions, and that's why they might subject them to shock therapy by Mosley Shamai wherever he is now. Maybe he's a patient and a doctor simultaneously at the same nut house to which he was sentenced after deconstructing Doof.
Wow, is that even allowed?
I'm not sure, but he believed that if the experiment to cure delusions worked on him, then it could work on other children who instigated these so-called delusions.
Okay.
But back to Paul. Okay, so one thing that Mosley Shamai and Paul have in common, at least in the format of their storylines in Delivery Destiny and Deconstructing Doof, is like they're both framed as ordinary working men, finding different ways how they I'm not sure if cope with is the right word. How they deal with and try to survive the daily chaos of the worlds of Phineas and Ferb characters and Perry the Platypus characters, while Mosley Shamai is clearly a nutcase and a nut job who cracks down when something happens when something goes wrong to shatter his fragile ego, like
he was wrong though.
Like Frank Grimes in Homer's Enemy.
Oh yeah.
Paul is a more calm and stable person who learns, and resilient because he knows what because like he's experiencing a different personal conflict than Mosley Shamai. Paul isn't sure if he's called to be a delivery guy, but helping Perry the Platypus succeed in his secret mission to foil Dr. Doofenshmirtz and his juicinator teach him that being an everyman, working man, an ordinary delivery person can be more fulfilling than he initially thought possible.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And that is why Paul, the mobile logistics technician, ends his story on top, while Mosley Shamai ends his story on bottom. Right? So Paul's unlike Mosley Shamai after him, Paul's a good guy who believes in client confidentiality and how to deal with the chaos and how to deal with everyday chaos of Phineas and Ferb characters versus Perry the Platypus characters.
He can go with the flow and adapt to
And how to
what's going on. And
how to solve unforeseen problems.
exactly, problem solving. And not at all arrogant, unlike the doctor. Right?
Right. I'm not sure if I'd say Mosley Shamai is evil, but he's definitely maniacal. Maybe he's not evil or cruel enough to be a villain, but he's definitely an antagonist of sorts.
Yeah, definitely arrogant, maniacal, obsessed.
And what opposing character traits would you use to describe Paul?
Oh, well, he's hardworking, duty and problem-focused, humble,
Yes.
conscientious,
Right.
mission focused. I think he's passionate.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, he's a good guy and good worker as well. Being good at your job and being a good person aren't the same thing. They overlap.
Paul definitely fits into both categories. He's a good person and he's good at his delivery job.
Yeah.
And he has Phineas, Ferb, and Perry the Platypus to thank for showing him how delivering packages can be more exciting than it seems under the right circumstances.
And he has pride in his work. It's not just a job. He's not just doing the minimum, you know?
Yes. And yeah, all these character traits in Paul, being an ordinary civil person who's good at handling daily chaos, are what playing a character like that for one episode in Phineas and Ferb is what made Christian Slater the right person to cast for Elliot Decker in Milo Murphy's Law, which is in a way is sort of like Paul, but in a much longer term capacity, and he's also somewhat more serious, and Elliot Decker is also more serious and acerbic than Paul is.
Okay, cool. That's definitely something Christian Slater can handle.
Yeah, Elliot Decker, he's a safety czar who has to stop Milo Murphy from causing chaos, because Milo Murphy and dad and granddad, the Murphy's Law curse. He thought he would like living in a world without Milo, but once he finally got that, he learned how dull and uneventful his life is in an alternate timeline where Milo Murphy was not born.
Yeah.
And that's like he needs Baltar Cavendish and Benny Dakota to set things straight and make Milo exist again.
Job in that timeline. Wow.
But yeah, that's our story on like how it was a good case study. I think this has been quite an interesting case study about how Phineas and Ferb's writers can make two different stories. How Phineas and Ferb's writers can make two of the same story format about two different characters with two different actors. Brendan Hunt played Mosley Shamai.
Well, he did a good job with the kind of character he's trying to be in next.
Yeah, Mosley Shamai acts in a way like he acts and talks in a way in which we viewers already know that Mosley Shamai has a screw loose and he is not a good therapist, despite what Candace Flynn might tell us and her mom.
Yeah, he was not a well-controlled, rational kind of person.
But Paul the delivery guy is, and that is why we are intended to root for Paul, while we are not intended to root for Mosley Shamai. And that's what makes his mental breakdown feel cathartic.